Two of the world's biggest tech giants are in battle over your privacy, a rift set to shake up the multi-billion-dollar digital advertising sector. Apple's due to release its new operating system any day now, but it's not getting the thumbs up or like from Facebook. Why? The update will ban apps and advertisers on Apple products like iPhones and iPads from collecting user data without their explicit consent. Experts believe most of the 1 billion Apple consumers will say no to being tracked. A massive blow for companies like Facebook and Google, which use your personal data for targeted ads. The online advertising market's thought to be worth more than $500 billion a year. Apple says it's all about protecting the privacy of its users. Others say it's about boosting its own digital advertising revenue. Joining me now for a closer look at a move that'll affect a lot of you out there is tech expert Paul Spain. Paul, explain this to us. Why should we care?
Well, we've been tracked for a long time through our mobile phones, through the varying websites that we visit. And what Apple are doing is they're really starting to reduce the level that this sort of surreptitious tracking is able to do. So we're going to have that choice now as to how much we attract. And we've seen that over recent years. Certain apps and so on our phones that have tracked our location, we've started getting these alerts as to whether we want to allow that to continue, particularly on Apple devices.
So Paul, on a practical level, what does it mean for Apple consumers or Apple customers?
Well, it's going to mean that you'll get this choice. So you can either go in and turn off this tracking for advertising purposes across the board, or what you can do is you can do that on a per application basis. So that is just going to minimise that level of tracking. On the flip side, it may mean that some of the advertising we see is maybe not quite as targeted as what it has been in the past, which is potentially can be a bit spooky at times.
And we're talking about a huge amount of money. Facebook makes around $120 billion a year from targeted ads. So there's a huge amount at stake here, isn't there?
There is. It's big dollars. I've heard figures starting at around 3 billion New Zealand dollars, or potentially, 3, 4, 5 times that. So it's many billions of dollars potentially at stake for Facebook over the longer term, and for other players such as Google as well.
And Facebook has taken out or run a huge PR campaign against the move. Is it working?
I don't think so. I'm not sure there's certainly too many consumers that are too worried about how much money Facebook makes, and we're not too keen to give more data to Facebook. I think most people would prefer to give less. So, I'm not sure that they're going to win too many friends with that PR campaign.
Apple is really playing up the privacy angle, but others are saying it's really flexing its muscle. What are your thoughts on that?
This has been a direction that Apple have taken over a number of years, and I think it is good for consumers, and that flows on to being good for Apple because it differentiates their offering compared to the Android phones from Google, and of course Google are very much about advertising. So we're starting to see really a separation between those two brands on the smartphone front, and some consumers will certainly make a move as they realise that there may be better privacy when they're on an Apple phone, as well as some other implications from a cybersecurity perspective, etc.
And Paul, you specialise in helping businesses harness digital technology. Do you think this could affect Kiwi companies?
Yeah, there will be a flow on. So anybody that is doing advertising through Facebook and through some of the other online channels, they'll need to look at the numbers following this, and they may need to make some changes in terms of how they do their digital advertising. It's a reminder with technology. You can't just set and forget things. You do have to be constantly looking and making sure that it's working in the way you expect it to.
Good advice for us all. A technology commentator, Paul Spain. Thanks so much for being with us tonight.